News about Jungkook never runs out of surprises. His every move was always in the spotlight. Any slightest change instantly sparked a long discussion among the army and netizens. But this time, the public's attention was drawn to one thing that was quite sensitive and surprised many. OMG, Jungkook's weight gain. The sentence suddenly flooded social media, fan forums, to the comment columns of various platforms. Jungkook's latest photos show him with a body that looks fuller than his previous appearance, triggering reactions ranging from shock, worry, to support. This issue was raised when Jungkook was caught on camera in a casual moment that was supposed to be private. Not being on a grand stage with perfect lighting or costumes specially designed to disguise body details, Jungkook appeared as he was. It was from there that netizens began to compare old and new photos, zoom in on the image, and even analyze every corner of her body. Within hours, speculation had sprung up. Some say Jungkook has gained significant weight, others accuse his lifestyle of changing drastically. But behind the furor, one big, far more important question arises. What exactly happened to Jungkook? Is this just an illusion of the camera and shooting angle, or is there a real change in the body of the golden magne BTS? Some fans who have been following Jungkook's journey for a long time remind that his body is always changing over time. Since debuting in his teens, Jungkook grew from a skinny teenager to a mature man with a pronounced muscle mass. In recent years, he is known to be diligent in exercising and forming an athletic body. But this time, the changes look different. Not just enlarged muscles, but the impression of a more full body and a noticeably rounder face. Many in the army suspect that Jungkook's hectic schedule over the years is finally starting to have an impact on his life. After a period of intense activity, world tours, non-stop recording, as well as tremendous mental stress, the human body does tend to reciprocate when the rhythm begins to slow down. It is possible that Jungkook ends up having longer rest periods, a freer diet, and physical activity that is not as rigorous as before. In this context, weight gain is not something strange, but rather a natural reaction of the body to lifestyle changes. Another issue that is no less widely discussed is Jungkook's eating habits, which have long been famous. He often honestly confesses his love for food, from large portions to late-night snacks. In various old content, Jungkook even joked about his abnormal appetite. When physical activity is reduced but food intake remains high, weight gain becomes an almost inevitable consequence. However, amid all the speculation, there is also a deeper tone of concern. Some fans questioned whether these weight changes were related to Jungkook's mental state. There is no denying that the pressures of being a global idol, the demands for perfection, and the almost inhuman expectations of the public can have a huge impact on a person's mental health. In some cases, a change in diet is often one of the responses to stress or emotional exhaustion. Although there was no official statement, this allegation made many army calls for the public to be more careful in commenting. The reaction of the army itself was divided into two large camps. On the one hand, there were those who were shocked and could not hide their surprise. Comments like, "Jungkook looks different?" or "He gained weight. Huh?" meet the timeline. But on the other hand, the wave of support was even stronger. Many fans affirmed that Jungkook is still Jungkook, regardless of his body shape. They considered the weight gain drastically narrative too exaggerated and potentially hurt the idol. Some army even attributed this issue to the unrealistic body standards that have been imposed on K-pop idols. According to them, Jungkook for years was forced to appear with an almost perfect body in the eyes of the camera, even though it demanded great sacrifices. If he now looks fuller, it may be a sign that he has finally made room for his body to breathe and live more normally. Interestingly, until now Jungkook chose silence.
No clarification, no refutation, no explanation.
This attitude actually makes speculation even wilder, but it also shows one important thing. Jungkook may not feel the need to explain his body changes to the public. For some, this is a form of courage that idols rarely have. He seemed to say without words that his body was his own business. In a broader perspective, Jungkook's weight issue actually reflects a larger problem in the entertainment industry. When an artist's physical changes become the subject of mass conversation, the line between attention and invasion of privacy becomes blurred. Jungkook, with all his popularity, remains an ordinary human being whose body can change over time, age, and living conditions. Did Jungkook really gain weight? Maybe not as much as we're talking about. What is clear, the public reaction shows how much pressure continues to follow every step of the way. In the midst of all this furor, one thing worth remembering is that health, whether physical or mental, is much more important than the number on the scale or the comments of netizens. In the end, OMG. Jungkook's weight gain. It may sound sensational and inviting click, but behind the title lies the story of an idol who grows, changes, and tries to live his life under the spotlight of the world. And perhaps what Jungkook needs most right now is not endless analysis, but one simple question that is rarely asked. Are you doing well today? That simple question sounds trivial, but it is precisely what is often lost when an idol is at the peak of popularity. Jungkook has always been known as a person who always gives energy, smiles, and maximum performance to the public. He rarely shows fatigue, rarely complains, and almost always appears as if everything is fine. Therefore, when the slightest physical changes are noticed, the public immediately overreacts, as if forgetting that behind the big name Jungkook BTS, there is a human being with a real body and emotions. Some observers of the Korean entertainment industry considered that Jungkook's weight change could actually be read as a transition phase. Jungkook is no longer in his teens or early 20s. Age, metabolism, and lifestyle necessarily change. The body, which used to quickly adjust to strict diets and extreme workouts, may now require a different approach. In a world that often demands idols to be always skinny or always muscular, this change is often considered a problem, but medically and humanly, it is a natural thing. Not a few ARMY reminded the public about Jungkook's old moments that showed how hard he was on himself. From hours of training to a strict diet for the sake of performing flawlessly on stage, Jungkook was once at a point where his body was completely controlled by the schedules and demands of the industry. If her body now looks fuller, many fans see it as a signal that she may be starting to be kinder to herself. But unfortunately, on the other hand, negative comments still appear. Some called Jungkook not taking care of himself. Others attributed this change to unfounded rumors. This kind of narrative shows how difficult it is to be a public figure, where even natural changes can be twisted into sensational issues. Jungkook doesn't seem to be given the space to simply change without being judged. Interestingly, in the midst of the weight debate, Jungkook's popularity has not dimmed at all. Quite the contrary, each of his latest appearances remains the center of attention. This shows one important fact. Jungkook's charm does not solely lie in his body shape. His charisma, talent, and aura far surpass the physical standards imposed by the industry. For many ARMY, this issue became a moment of reflection. They began to re-question the way fandom and the media treated idols.